All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. I'm Collin Zollinger with the Department of Commerce team, Community Assistance Supervisor on the lead service lines technical assistance team. We're just going to be giving this presentation as we've done every month for the past few months regarding the process of lead service line inventories and post that process, just to get any folks that would like to caught up to speed on what needs to be done here and how we can help you out with that. On the call with me as well, I have Jessica Johnson and Paige Boucher from my team, as well as Greg Montgomery from the DEQ team, if we have any questions come up. So we'll go ahead and get started. So we just wanted to remind everyone at the top of this that our deadline for submitting lead service line inventories is coming up on October 16th of this year. Obviously, we're still a few months out from that, but in terms of utilization of our technical assistance programs through the Department of Commerce, where we can get you hooked up with an engineering firm to assist in getting that inventory done. That window is tightening as we get closer to that deadline, the larger your system is. So if you still haven't gotten your inventory done, don't know how you're going to be doing that, please hook up with one of us, reach out, and we can hopefully get you sorted and moving on that for yourselves. So for completing inventory, we just wanted to go over some of the options for completing that inventory. Like I'd mentioned, you can apply for our technical assistance program through the Department of Commerce and get technical assistance with an engineering firm to complete that inventory. They'll work with you on administration, review, public outreach, etc., in order to get your lead pipe inventory done for your public water system. If you're a tribal water system, you would fall under the EPA's jurisdiction for inventory completing. So if you've not applied for uh, lead service line technical assistance through the Department of Commerce, you may then be eligible for the EPA's TA and other technical assistance through Commerce in order to complete that lead service line inventory. You can also complete the inventory yourselves and submit that through the Department of Environmental Quality or the EPA, and you may be eligible then to submit for reimbursement of up to $5,000 if you'd like to complete that inventory yourselves. In terms of eligibility for our technical assistance through the Department of Commerce, community and non-community, non-transient water systems and districts, including systems on tribal lands, are eligible. Priority is given to development of lead service line inventories when applying for this technical assistance, and assistance in applying for additional qualified activities such as lead service line replacement plans, funding, or other assignments as approved by Commerce on our team or the team over at DEQ after inventory is completed are also out there. And I just want to reiterate again, as we have previously, that any federally owned systems are not eligible for this funding. It cannot be a federally owned system and qualify for our lead service line TA funding through the state. For requesting that technical assistance, your public water systems out there will submit a request for technical assistance via the Commerce Lead Service Lines link that I'll have a member of my team put in the chat. You can go to that link and submit a request there. At that point, you can indicate if you have any specific engineering firm you're already working with for other projects or already regularly work with as a community or other service providers if you'd prefer to work with them on your application. And we'll take that in consideration when reviewing your application. Your technical assistance will then be assigned to your requested provider if our capacity allows. We're regularly checking in with our procured service providers through the Department of Commerce and making sure that their capacity is allowing for further inventories, especially as we get closer to that October 16th deadline. If your elected firm does not have further capacity, then you may be assigned to a different firm Other factors may also be weighed, including location, and like I'd mentioned, capacity. We will look at locations and regions accessibility that all the firms have given us, how far their range is for service, et cetera, in assigning you an engineering firm to assist with your technical assistance. We can accept change requests after assignments are made. We can't guarantee that the specific requests can be processed, like I said, especially as we get closer to the October 16th deadline, just so that you all are aware. So as the deadline approaches, like I mentioned, we can't guarantee anything as we get close to that deadline, specifically that your inventory will be completed. We'd like to reiterate, the larger your system, the more challenges we may face in getting your inventory completed by that October 16th deadline. We've spoken with our firms and checking in with their capacities and trying to evaluate how many can take on those larger public water systems, how many can take on smaller ones, so that hopefully at this point that isn't too much of an issue. But like I said, we can't guarantee that the inventories will be completed at this point, given our proximity to the deadline. As we receive applications, we'll review them for feasibility with our current procured service providers and their capacity, like I mentioned. And at that point, we will assign based on capacity. If our procured service providers do not have the capacity to take on your application, we'll immediately reach back out to you and inform you of this and provide as much assistance as we can in getting you hooked up with other resources, other avenues for completing your lead service line inventory. And please remember that the initial inventory is due October 16th. This initial inventory can include unknowns. Those unknowns, however, will be treated as if they are lead lines per the reporting standards from the EPA. Public water systems then have 10 years, starting in 2027, to determine all of those unknowns from their initial inventory and as well replace all of their lead lines identified within their public water systems. And I will toss it over to Greg Mongomery from DEQ to go over processes for completing inventories. Greg, if you wouldn't mind hopping on.
Sure. So to complete the inventory, we put together a number of guidance documents. If you do choose to do it yourself, or understanding the system, if you do go through Commerce's TA program. But we tried to make the process as simple as possible. You can find all of our guidance materials on our website. There's also links on Department of Commerce's website as well. And again, we have an Excel file Excel template that has to be filled out. And then that does have to be submitted to DEQ as an Excel template itself. We also have if you choose to do the inventory yourself or hire a contractor or somebody directly to do the inventory, we do have a reimbursement program. You can get reimbursed up to $5,000 for your lead service line inventory. So the inventory does have to be submitted prior to requesting reimbursement. We can only cover costs that have accrued after May 31st of 2023. So basically from then to now is what you could get reimbursement for. Again, the inventory has to be submitted before applying for it. It is a kind of a either or program. So either you can use this reimbursement program for the 5,000, or you can go through Commerce's TA program. So you can't do both. So you have to pick one or the other. And then the costs have to be, if you decide to hire a local contractor, maybe you're a contract operator or something like that, essentially you would have to, as part of the reimbursement package, you would be submitting, the scope and let's say the invoice from that contractor. It's specifically for inventories. One caveat with all this funding is it can't be used for your normal day-to-day duties or responsibilities as a public water supply. So normal operation and maintenance, we can't cover that. If you're doing it yourself and you're looking for reimbursement, it's a little more complicated. You do have to show that it's outside of that person's normal day-to-day activities doing the inventory. So whether that being you hired a temporary staff person just to work on the inventory, or that person accrued overtime outside of his normal duties to do the inventory. And so that will all have to be, that kind of justification will have to be submitted along with your application. Um, and then expenses like mailing, surveys out, education materials, all that would be eligible as well. And our application should be will be on the website by next week. It'll be a simple application that you fill out, and then you'd email that back to our lead and copper email address, which will be on our website. And that's all I had, Colin.
All right. Thank you, Greg. And that's all we have for today's just refresher training on this process. Um, on the screen, I have all of our contact informations for my team over here at Commerce or Greg over at DEQ. If you have any further questions about any of this, please reach out to us. We will help you as speedily as we can in getting your questions answered. And if you haven't started the process on your inventories, getting that process moving for you, however you elect to go through that process. Are there any questions while we're still on the call that I could assist with at all? All right. Then I'll go ahead and call it for today. I appreciate everybody coming on and joining us for this brief training this morning. Like I said, all of our contact information is on the screen right now and can be found on our respective websites to reach out with any further questions, requests for assistance, etc. Again, I appreciate everybody hopping on, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.